What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to talk about the potential of Apple holding a 2018 October media event to discuss new iPads and new Macintosh computer refreshes. Now, this year is a special year because Apple has so much they could potentially release before the end of this fiscal year, and October is a perfect time to get people excited for new iPads, new Macintoshes, and a few other products that have yet to be released that were even teased over a year ago. So moving past the 2018 iPhone lineup, what else does Apple have in store for us for the rest of this year? Now, specifically this year, I could see Apple holding a 2018 media conference to address new iPads and Macintosh computers, as some of them are in dire need for a refresh. And not only that, Microsoft this year has upped the ante, putting the pressure on Apple as they've just released all new products, pretty much refreshed their entire mobile lineup as well, and some of their new products look absolutely incredible, and some of the headlines for these articles are getting pretty ridiculous, like who thought Apple would be the boring one between the two. Third, we have Google just about to announce the Pixel 3. Anyway, Apple needs to get back into the game of things and release a few new products to get themselves back in the limelight releasing new products. So let's just get into talking about them individually. First up, we have iPads. Now, iPad Pros specifically, as we just saw a refresh to the lower tier iPad lineup earlier this year. So iPad Pros, this year could be a major year and a major redesign featuring the new edge-to-edge display, potentially with Face ID. I mean, I think this would just be incredible. The design behind me actually doesn't feature a notch. It's unclear at this time if Apple's going to include a notch or not on the new iPads, but it is expected to receive the edge-to-edge display treatment with thinner bezels. So we could see something like this with slightly thinner bezels with the Face ID enclosed in the top bezel. Another design is something like this as well, featuring the same sort of aesthetic. Or we could be seeing something more like this with a notch to house the Face ID and other components at the top. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think this notch design is a good idea, or do you think Apple could get away with something like this and just put all the Face ID components in a top bezel but have it be a little bit thicker? Or do you guys like Apple pushing the bezels, the thinness of the bezels more so to their ultimate limits, but having a notch like this? Honestly, with the iPhone XS Max, the notch seems to disappear even more so than compared to the iPhone X, as the notch is the same size on the phone, but the screen size is much bigger. And with an iPad, I could see this notch not being that big of a deal, but at the same time, with an iPad with its huge display, I could see something along the lines of this being appropriate with a little bit thicker bezels because the display is just so big. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think down below. What do you think Apple's going to do with this next year's iPad lineup? Notch or no notch? Alright, so let's move on past iPads a little bit. Let's talk about new Macintosh computers. Now, as you guys may recall, Apple's MacBook Pro lineup recently got a refresh, including the 8th gen processors, a bump in RAM, and other specs like that, essentially. So we won't be seeing new MacBook Pros. What the rumors suggest is we'll be receiving a refresh to the lower tier MacBooks, or MacBook Pros, being the 13-inch models. Those didn't receive a refresh. It was only the models with the touch bar included that got all the bump in specs. So, in my opinion, we could be receiving a update to the lower tier MacBook Pro, being the 13-inch without the touch bar. Apple could also announce a refresh to the 12-inch MacBook model, not even the Pro, but the initial MacBook model. That one has yet to receive an update since its launch, so that would be great to see this guy get some needed improvements. Now, the rumors, honestly, they have suggested that we might be receiving a new MacBook Air, but really, I thought the whole point of releasing this model of the MacBook was to eliminate the MacBook Air entirely. Granted, if the rumors do hold true, the MacBook Air would be receiving a much-needed refresh as well. That thing hasn't been updated in years. Now, speaking of a few more Macs that have yet to be updated in years, first thing that comes to my mind is the Mac Mini. I want to say it was like 2013, maybe even 2012, that this received an update, and since then it's been the same model on the floor, and Apple actually does still sell this. And so this is another rumor that an update to the Mac Mini could be in store for us this October. Now, all the models of the Mac computers that we've talked about so far could actually be announced and released by the end of 2018, but as you guys know, Apple always likes to tease and do one more thing, and in my opinion, that could be teasing a new Mac Pro, because this Mac Pro, if you guys recall, this has yet to be updated since 2013, and Pro users lately have felt a bit left out. Sure, the iMac Pro came out, but again, nothing in these Pro models of Macintosh computers can later be updated, and that is one feature that has been highly requested by all the user base. So we might be receiving a teaser of a new Mac Pro with certain components that could be replaced, like the graphics card or the RAM or the hard drive. Those would be three easy things with a minor adoption from this current design that I think would just fit in perfectly for a Pro user, because anybody looking to buy this computer nowadays, if they're working with 2013 specs, not only is the processor outdated, it's still using DDR3, and the price tag still starts at $3,000. So if you're in the market for a Pro Mac computer, really the only option you have right now is the iMac Pro, which starts at $5,000, and that is just ludicrous. There's really no perfect solution for any Pro user that wants to use Macintosh as their daily driver. A lot of people choose Mac Pros to bring their own hardware and displays, keyboards, and other accessories that necessarily aren't Apple. I mean, with the iMac Pro, it's a great computer, but some things aren't needed. A lot of users won't take advantage of the 5K display or other things that are built in by default. A lot of people like the flexibility the Mac Pro brings, but right now, like I said, it's been far too long since Apple has done a refresh to even consider this model being acceptable in 2018 for Pro user work. Alright, well those are the two major subjects that Apple is going to cover in the 2018 media event if Apple decides to hold one this year. New iPads and new Macintoshes. But one more product that I could think Apple would bring to the table and potentially could be on screen is AirPower. Now this was initially teased over a year ago in the 2017 iPhone event, and since then Apple hasn't made any mention regarding its release date. Now, funny enough, with the product packaging for the iPhone XS and XS Max, it actually references using AirPower, suggesting that we could actually be receiving this product by the end of 2018. I'm guessing right around the time that the iPhone XR is going to be released to the public, being October 19th, we could be receiving AirPower shortly after. And I completely forgot to mention, but AirPower is just this wireless Qi charging mat that Apple is going to release, which will allow you to charge your iPhone, your Apple Watch, as well as your AirPods all in one charging mat. Now that brings up the question, since the AirPods are included in this wireless charging trio, they might be receiving an update as well, potentially being dubbed AirPods 2. Now, along with the wireless charging case that is speculated to be included in this update, Apple also teased a new feature at the 2018 iPhone conference, one that a lot of users missed. And this was at the beginning of their conference when they did a theatrical intro. One of the characters in the intro actually used their AirPods to summon Siri simply by saying, "Hey Siri." And so I'll just show you guys that clip real fast.
Hey Siri, what's the fastest way to Steve Jobs Theater?
Take a right, then in a quarter mile, take...
So without picking up her phone or pulling it out of her pocket, and without tapping on the AirPods to summon Siri, all she did was say, "Hey Siri," to summon Siri, which suggests Hey Siri support may be coming in the second iteration of AirPods. Anyway, Hey Siri support as well as wireless charging for the AirPods are likely in store for the second version of them, which could potentially be launched at the October event along with AirPower, new iPads, and new Macintosh refreshes as well. So now that you're all hyped of the new products Apple could be releasing in October or by the end of this year, let's talk a little bit about when this event could actually be taking place. Obviously in October, but let's discuss exactly when. Alright, so if we take a look at the history, like I said, in years past, in the last 8 years, there have been 6 media events in October by Apple between the 14th and 27th of October. Now, this year is going to be very particular because there's a lot happening in October. Not only is Tim Cook pretty busy near the second half of October when we're likely to see this event take place, but Google is having their own event at the beginning of October. We have the iPhone XR releasing pretty much smack dab in the middle of October on October 19th. So really, where is their time for this event? No one really knows. My best speculation is we're either going to see this event take place between the 24th and 26th of October and or on the very last week of October, taking place on Tuesday the 30th or Wednesday the 31st. We really won't know anything until Apple actually confirms this by sending out invites. And in years past, Apple has sent out said invites exactly 7 or 8 days before the event takes place. So, once these invites are confirmed, I'll be sure to update you guys and give you a recap of everything that's going to take place in this year's October media event if it happens. I just want to get the conversation started today about what new products may be in store for us before the end of the year. It's going to be released by Apple. Anyway guys, if you appreciated today's video, enjoyed it, thought it was interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you thought it sucked, you know what to do as well. Thank you so much for watching, but until next time, this is Tony, signing out.